Hi there everyone, and thank you very much for joining and taking your few minutes to watch this chess video. Today I have a very beautiful, amazingly interactive attacking chess game to show you by the legend Garry Kasparov. And his opponent was the first chess grandmaster from Azerbaijan, Elmar Magerramov from Azerbaijan. First chess grandmaster of his country and the winner of the 1991 USSR Chess Championship, the final chess championship of the Soviet Union, because the Soviet Union collapsed after in the year 1991, as we know, of course. A very important chess player, chess grandmaster. So this was a training match, so-called a training match, but don't let that fool you and make you think that okay, this was just an entertaining chess game, this was just for fun. They were both playing for the win, 100%, and they were trying to prove who is the real daddy. So let's see what happened in this chess game. This is from 1982, when Kasparov was a young man. Okay, so Kasparov had the white pieces and he starts the game with e4, c5, knight to f3, d6, d4. So we have the open Sicilian, knight to f6, developing the pieces, a6, the Najdorf variation of the Sicilian defense, bishop to g5, and then e6, f4, queen to b6, and queen to d2 by Kasparov, allowing capturing on b2, and this is also known as the poison pawn variation of the Sicilian Najdorf, and the poison pawn is accepted after queen takes on b2, knight to b3 by Kasparov, defending the rook, and it looks like the queen is boxed in. So this looks like a little bit cramped position for black. So after queen to a3, Garry Kasparov played bishop takes on f6, giving up the bishop, but for a good reason. When you're going to give up your bishop, you need to have a good reason. So Kasparov's excuse is to damage the pawn structure, and black is lacking behind in the development, and white is ahead in the development. We can easily say that. Bishop to e2, and black is a pawn up, but pluses and minuses. Look at the queen. The queen is out of the play, and most of black's pieces, all of black's pieces besides the queen, is sleeping. They are not doing anything. They are inactive, and black still has not managed to castle. So this doesn't look like an ideal position for black. But black is a pawn up. Okay, a pawn is a pawn. But on the other hand, this is a cramped position for black. So this is why we can call this queen takes on b2 move an undeveloping and a greedy move, poisoned pawn. So this b2 pawn was poisoned because of that. Okay, so developing the knight, but white castled, bishop to d7, and lifting the rook up, bringing the big gun out. Rook over, placing the rook in the semi-open file, king to h1, h5, and then rook to d5. So Kasparov wants to create a battery on the d file, and you can see that this d pawn is also looking like a weakness. h4, e5, Kasparov wants to blast open the center. We have f takes on e5. Decisions. If trying to close, then knight to e4, and this pawn is pinned. Knight is getting closer for making some trouble. You can see that also aiming the pawn, if capturing the knight, lights out, queen takes bishop. So, of course, black can't capture the pawn, so f takes on e5, and then not wasting time with capturing the pawns, Kasparov is getting in with the knight, and he is actually threatening to play knight to c5. We have queen to b4. So if, as you can see, knight is getting closer, so the king is still in the center, and if some prophylactic move, bishop to e7, and also a developing move, and one of the moves that can be a candidate move, so developing and defending at the same time. Well, white has this very strong move. Can you see that move? It should be easy. Okay, knight from b to c5, and that's a discover attack to the queen. And after, let's say, defending the queen, we can land on d6 with the knight, and that's check, forking the king and the rook at the same time. And obviously, if not capturing the knight, if moving the king, we can capture the bishop with check. And if moving the king to d8, then capturing on b7, forking the king and the queen. So this is already a very difficult position. So again, after bishop to e7, knight from b to d5, knight from b to c5 is actually also blocking the queen, defending on d6. So this is a cramped position already for black. So that's why it was a poisoned pawn. Okay, a good example of the poisoned pawn variation. So queen to b4, and then Kasparov played check, and we have king to d8, and I call this move digging your own grave. Basically, because black would have better chances if black had played king to e7. That should have been considered, but after king to d8, for some reason, first move c3, Kasparov of course doesn't want to exchange the queens, he is 2 pawns down. It would not make any sense, so after defending the queen, creating a battery on the d file. So this 2 rook queen trio, this battery looks like a ballistic missile aiming to the king. Like this. You know, it looks very aggressive. It looks like a heat-seeking ballistic missile looking right at the king. It looks very aggressive, and it looks like this battery has some bad intentions. It doesn't look like a peaceful trio. It looks like they want war. They want to cause some damage in the black's camp. That's their only goal. So it looks very obvious. Of course, you don't have to be a chess master to be able to realize that this is such an aggressive development on the d file. So we have bishop to e7, but Kasparov's rook smacks into d6. Rook takes on d6 by Kasparov. And after thinking hard, black captured the knight, not the rook. Because if capturing the rook, it's all over actually how to defend queen takes bishop checkmate. If defending with the rook, then knight takes on d7. It's very simple. And if defending with the queen, then queen takes on d7, queen takes, and then rook takes is going to be checkmate actually, because the knight is also covering the escape square. Okay, so this is why Kasparov is sacrificing the exchange to checkmate or cause some serious damage in his opponent's camp. Bishop takes knight, and this is an important moment of the game. Can you see white's next move? What would you do in this position if you had the white pieces? I'm going to give you a small tip. Okay, the tip is this. When you see a good move, you always need to see a better one. So that's what Emmanuel Lescar said, the greatest, one of the greatest, Dr. Lescar, the second official world chess champion. So did you see a better move than capturing the bishop with the rook? Okay, the better move is this. Rook takes on e6. Kasparov knocks the head off the e-pawn with his rook, sliding over on e6 with capturing and sacrificing the rook. Of course, you can't accept because queen takes on d7 is going to be checkmate. And in this position, basically, you can't checkmate the king with the rook, but you can checkmate the king with the queen. So this is why Kasparov also opens the queen. So threatening checkmate, what else? Defending with the rook, but Kasparov's rook is very naughty. He captured the bishop. Rook takes on f6. This is also equalizing the material. And this is a difficult position. Kasparov is choking, he is squeezing his opponent like anaconda. So this is pretty difficult. We have h3. The bishop is pinned, the king is in the center. This position is almost unplayable. Bishop to g4, adding one more attacking unit to this pinned piece. So h takes on g2, queen takes on g2, queen to b5, and then rook takes on f7. With this move, Kasparov is adding yet one more attacker to this pinned piece. So the bishop, the rook, and also the rook on d1 is aiming this bishop, this poor little bishop, and of course the bishop is pinned. Black has only 2 defenders of this bishop, white has 3 attackers. So knight goes back, and with this move, black is defending the bishop with the knight, with the queen, with the rook, and also with the king. So Kasparov captured, and Kasparov is also threatening to push the pawn. Very difficult position. Queen takes on e5, disaster everywhere, and knight is getting closer to make some trouble. Okay, it looks like black is tied up in this box. So very difficult stuff. We have king over, unpinning, but Kasparov, I mean, if bishop takes on g4, can you see what can happen? Then knight to c6, discovered check, double check, forking the king and the queen, winning the queen easily. And if king to c8, check, mate, lights out. So knight to d4, you can't capture the bishop because of knight to c6. So escaping, but then knight to f5. Rook takes on c3. If bishop takes knight, then rook takes on f5, and black is in big trouble. He is in deep trouble. So both attacking the queen and threatening check, discovered check, double check, mate. So extremely difficult position. This is why we have rook takes on c3, and then checking the king, and this was a killer check. King to d8, king to c7 is out of questions because of this checkmate. Very simple. So king to d8, and then Kasparov played the final knockout punch. Can you see that? Okay, rook takes on d7, and black resigned. What a fantastic, incredible smashing attack by Garry Kasparov. Slashing, smashing, crushing chess game, dashing attack by Garry Kasparov. He attacks like a beast. Like his nickname was the Beast from Baku. No wonder why. So he attacks like a beast to his opponent. The possible continuation, capturing the rook, the only move, and then knight to f7, forking the king and the queen. Thank you very much for the game. Fantastic, amazing stuff. So, okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed watching this chess game, and I hope to see you next time with more instructive, beautiful chess games. Stay safe, take care, and bye-bye.